Hello everyone, my name is Haoran Xu, and I took part in the Global Economics and Entrepreneurship. And my unit is 1, and my project today is the development of Bay Area. Take Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, for example. And first of all, it's abstract. From a global perspective, most of the world's top city clusters are located in the Bay Area. As is known to all, there are three famous city clusters in the world: the New York Bay Area, Tokyo Bay Area, and San Francisco Bay Area. And the Chinese government released an important document in 2019. It's called Outline Development Plan for the GBA area, proposing create a new famous Bay Area in the whole world. However, there are still a lot of challenges for Chinese government to solve on it. And the first part of my research is the introduction of 3 Bay Areas. And first is New York Bay. And the New York Bay is located in the northeastern part of the United States, and it is famous as the finance because of the Wall Street. Wall Street is the heart of the world finance, with the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq Stock Exchange and the 6 largest banks in the United States, and more than 2,900 securities, futures, insurance, and foreign trade institutions are located on Wall Street. So the New York Bay is the #1 financial Bay Area of the world. And the second Bay Area is the San Francisco Bay, which is located in the western part of the United States. It is famous as technology and higher education, like Google, Apple, Facebook, Tesla, and other well-known companies are the representatives of San Francisco Bay technology power. Also, UC Berkeley and Stanford is also located there. And the third famous Bay Area of the world is the Tokyo Bay, which is Japan's largest industrial city cluster and an international financial, transportation, trade, and consumer center. There are also a lot of famous companies like Toshiba, Canon, Sony, and Honda. As to the second part of my research is this document called Outline Development Plan for the GBA. And the goal of this major strategy is to strengthen the ties between Hong Kong and Macau and mainland China, mainly at the economic level, but of course, also in terms of livelihood, such as education and healthcare. It is hoped that this strategy can be adopted in order to achieve further development of the Greater Bay Area and even drive the economic development of China as a whole. And in my view, the idea of neoliberal economy is reflected in the development measures of the GBA area, where the relaxation of government control, the rule of the free market, and the encouragement of free trade are the core of the development of GBA. Neoliberalism is a wave of economic thinking that emerged in the 1970s. This theory emphasizes the importance of the free market and oppose state intervention in the economy, while emphasizing the importance of free trade and encouraging the free flow of factors of production and goods. For example, the development strategy of the Guangdong of GBA area mentions the need to build an open and interoperable regional innovation system and encourage the mutual circulation of capital, information, technology, and other factors in the region. Besides, not only at the economic level, the Chinese government also wants the GBA to develop in the field of education as well. The Chinese government is encouraging schools in Hong Kong and Macau to open branches in mainland China for undergraduate and graduate school students, which is also a more liberal and open initiative for the region. Therefore, the conclusion of the part 2 is I think the Chinese government has fully followed neoliberalism in developing the GBA area, which is uncommon in the past, because the Chinese government in the past was a purely communist government and did not endorse neoliberal economics, but emphasized government control over everything. And the third part of the project is the challenges of GBA area. As we all know, the reform and opening up was a product of combination of capitalism and socialism, which led to the extent of both capitalism and socialism in China. This is also reflected in the development of GBA. For example, in 2019, the Chinese government passed the Hong Kong Security Act, a law that actually caused the panic in the Hong Kong region, resulting in an outflow of capital and even a wave of immigration, especially from Hong Kong residents to Singapore, the United Kingdom, and other regions. In addition, there is the unresolved issues of free convertibility of currency. Although in the plan, the Chinese government proposed to promote the free circulation of capital, a new contradiction is born because the RMB is strictly controlled by the government, while the Hong Kong dollar is free convertible, which is also obviously not in line with neoliberalism. And my conclusion is the GBA plan is an important initiative of the Chinese government in promoting economic freedom, in which various measures can see the adoption of neoliberalism and can promote the economic development of GBA area. However, at the same time, it reflects the contradiction between capitalism and socialism, and this contradiction will not be easily solved for a long period of time. And this contradiction will have a negative impact on the development of GBA area. And this is my references, and thanks for your listening.
Thank you, Haoran. Really appreciate your presentation, and I would like to open it up for the rest of the attendees if you have any questions for Haoran about his topic.
Well, I was wondering if you want to talk a little more about the role of education, because I know earlier in your project you were focusing on that a bit more.
Yeah, because the education is really important in a country's development, especially the high education. And as we all know, like the UC Berkeley, Stanford, and other university in New York Bay, they all help the Bay Area to development very much. And in the GBA area, there are also a lot of famous university, but they are all in Hong Kong, not in Guangdong province. So the Chinese government is encouraging these universities to open more branches in China mainland to help development.
And if I may ask a follow-up question about the role of immigration, because we saw, for example, in Alberto's presentation that the immigration and education kind of go together. So do you have any thoughts on the role of immigration in the development of this area?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat again?
Would you like to speak about the role of immigration in this?
Immigration, yes. Actually, now in Hong Kong, there are a lot of people who want to live to Singapore or like the United Kingdom. I think it is bad news for Hong Kong, and immigration is really important because I know there are a lot of workers from Philippines and other countries near Hong Kong they went to Hong Kong to find a job there, and they make Hong Kong become better. But now a lot of people want to leave. I think it is a bad news for Hong Kong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll jump in. Haoran, this is a completely new subject for me. I had no idea that this existed. So as Shannon said earlier, I love just learning things all day or all afternoon from our BISP students. So thank you. This is really fascinating. I guess my question is, like, to what extent do you have a personal stake in the development of this area? Do you or your family live in this GBA region?
Yeah, my cousin is working in Hong Kong, and actually I went to Shenzhen in June, and I really love that place. And Hong Kong, I have never been there before, but I will go there in January next year. So I will live with my cousin, and I want to explore more details about Hong Kong there.
And kind of continuing on from John's question about immigration, I have no idea. Is there a lot of internal movement like within China? Is it very common for you to grow up and leave and live in a different province? Like what people from elsewhere, is it common to like move like far from family or far from your roots?
Actually, most of my classmates want to live near their home, but I don't want to live near my family because I love traveling and I want to explore new things, especially in Hong Kong, because the system there is totally different from the China mainland. I want to experience more multicultural places. And I think Hong Kong is a good choice because it is a combination of socialism and capitalism, and there are Chinese culture and also Western culture. I think that it is a good place to explore. So I want to go to Hong Kong to spend some days there.
Thanks. That's so fascinating. I only got to spend 9 hours in Hong Kong once. It's because I misunderstood my plane tickets and I went, oh, I guess I have 9 hours here. So I don't have much of an impression of the city. But yeah, excellent food, very clean, and just, yeah, there was a certain energy about it. I would love to spend more time there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll ask another question. First of all, thank you so much for sharing. I'm curious, you mentioned a lot of the development of this region, and particularly the Guangdong Bay Area region has been in the last several years. How has COVID impacted any sort of multinational development, but particularly in this region? How has that been slowed down? Is it picking up? How are they now on that list of the top 4 Bay Area regions?
I'm sorry. So you mentioned the COVID policy?
More just, has the the development of this multinational region been slowed down by the last 3 years?
Yes. So that is also the reason why a lot of Hong Kong residents want to leave. But there becomes a turn recently. Just a few days ago, the Chinese government stopped the zero COVID policy, and I think this will be a turn, and it reflects on the stock. Not only in Shanghai stock, but also in Hong Kong stock. And they rise a lot when this policy is released. So I think maybe there will be a good turn in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing your presentation with us, and congratulations, you're done. And
thank you for your time.
Thank you.